It's Dave Johal for the Boxing Voice with someone who's making his pro debut, Jonathan Kumuteo at Super Welterweight. How are you, Jonathan?
I'm fine, thank you. And yourself, Dave?
I'm very good. So going down to business, your debut was going to be in April. For obvious reasons, That's now been postponed. For those that don't know you, I mean, what's your journey been into boxing so far? Because you've just turned pro, you've had a great amateur career. What's your journey been into boxing like so far?
Yep, so I started boxing in September 2011 at Finchley Amateur Boxing Club. I had my first fight in October 2012, won that. I then went on to have 30 fights. I won the London Under-20 Novices Championships. I lost, medalled in the Nationals. I then had to take some time out of the sport due to having 3 operations.
Wow.
As I was suffering from a skin condition called hidradenitis, or also known as HS. The third operation I had in November 2018, which was a huge operation. My surgeon told me it was as if I got hit by a bus. However, I recovered reasonably quick, and I actually only had the operation so I can actually make the pro boxing transition. Reason being, I was suffering from HS for 4 years, so over half of my amateur career, but I still managed to box, compete, win fights. And I was operating at around 50-60%, according to my doctors.
Wow.
So I've overcome that now. I am now signed with Frank Warren's Queensbury Promotions. And like you mentioned earlier, I was actually meant to be debuting this month. However, there was rumours circulating in regards to the board, the British Boxing Board of Control, postponing and cancelling all professional boxing events. So we couldn't make the announcement. And then Boris Johnson went ahead and put us on lockdown anyway. So I guess I have to wait until all of this is out of the way, and then the debut will happen. Regardless, I'm in the gym every day still. Luckily for myself, I have access to a private gym next to my house. So it's only me in there. The difference is I have to train myself. But, I can't complain. It's a much better situation and circumstance than many others. So I'm just staying ready, to be fair, as much as I can. And as soon as this COVID-19 situation eases, as soon as professional boxing is back, I will be making my debut.
I mean, you're saying it was going to be in April. Would that have been on the Joyce Dubois undercard?
No, so there was actually meant to be a card the following week, which was unannounced. I can't tell you who was headlining because it's not my place anymore. But it was going to be there was going to be British, WBO European, and a few other titles on the line. So I don't know if you want to guess who is signed to Frank Warren that has those titles. Then you can probably figure it out. The fight card was unannounced due to the fact that everybody was kind of waiting to see what would happen with COVID. But yeah, now. Oh, sorry. No.
I was gonna ask you about that in a second, but no, you finish first. Sorry, Jonathan.
No, I'm actually finished. Hopefully, what I wanted to say is hopefully once this COVID-19 situation eases and boxing is back, I am hoping to get on the first or at least the second card. So if the first card is the Joyce Dubois card, I will make sure that my team get me on there.
Yeah, I mean, that card was looking stacked anyway, especially with Anthony Yard on there. Hamza Shiraz, I think, was on there as well. So it was getting quite stacked. Unfortunately, they're saying July the 11th or the 7th, aren't they, if we get the green light on that. But I mean, as well, with your debut approaching on such a big card as well, another thing I was going to ask you about was the Queensbury Promotions sort of route. Did you have any other offers on the table apart from Queensbury?
Yeah, I had a few other offers. Initially as well with Queensbury, I wasn't happy with the first offer I got from them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they came back and gave me an offer that for me made sense. You know, I've put in a lot of work behind the scenes in regards to myself and my boxing career, my whole branding aspect of things, alongside the training. Training has cost me so much. I'm sure you know, boxing is quite expensive.
Very.
And everything was self-funded. I've never had a sponsor, so I've made so many sacrifices, missed out on so many things, but it is what it is. I chose to make those sacrifices, and in my opinion, I deserve the deal that I got because, you know, I see a lot of other fighters. I have a few friends who are on small shows, are on ticket deals, etc., and it can be very difficult and challenging if you don't have a following, if you don't have a fan base, if you don't have a huge family. And I'm just blessed and I'm grateful to be in the situation that I am, especially now being in this, you know, these times of the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a ticket deal. So therefore, when boxing resumes, I'm okay. But what about the fighters that do have ticket deals? What then?
Yeah, I mean, you've done it off your own back, which is quite impressive. Over 60,000 followers on Instagram. Your website, I've had a look at that, looks very, very professional for someone who's making his pro debut. You've got Frank Warren behind you. You're closely linked with the heavyweight champion of the world, Anthony Joshua. It sounds like a very good start for something that could become massive, you know. So hats off to you on that. I mean, the other thing as well, your friendship with Anthony Joshua, was that forged at Finchley Boxing Club?
It actually wasn't, but I would say boxing kept us very close together, if that makes sense, you know. He is a mentor of mine. I've learned so much about the boxing business being around him. I wouldn't have been as creative as I am, if I'm honest, if I wasn't around him and his team, amongst other things. So being around them was fantastic. You know, a lot of people would pay money to be around and watch even AJ train, let alone have the inside knowledge of what's going on, and for them to sit you down and explain and break down how boxing works. Because amateur boxing, that's the sport. Pro boxing is simply the hurt business.
What kind of advice has AJ given you about the pro game? Because we're right in thinking there's a massive transition, isn't there, between amateur and pro, because that's where the sponsorship deals come, the TV, the blinking lights, and AJ's been there, done that, still doing that. So what kind of advice has he given you?
Oh man, I don't even know where to start. But I will say this in regards to the marketability stuff, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, pro boxing, it's all about putting bums on seats. It's all about being popular, whether people hate you or they love you. It's about popularity or being infamous per se, right? So therefore, being a great fighter, having a skill is great. But simply having that can mean that you'll be in a situation where people maneuver around you, right? If you're marketable, if you speak in a certain type of way, if you teach yourself and go out of your way to understand the marketing and the commercial side of the sport, then you apply that to yourself alongside your boxing skill in the ring, then you have something to run with, if that makes sense. Because if you look at it, there's a lot of fighters nowadays who, they're great fighters, but they're not marketable, or they don't know how to speak, or they're shy, and they're limited. Do you understand what I'm saying? Great fighters in the ring, but outside the ring, you know, as fighters, you aren't on a salary. You get paid in purses, right?
Yep.
So it's all about putting yourself in a position where you do have sponsors and you do have commercial entities working with you so that you can get paid all year round. So those are some of the things that they've drilled into me. You know, he spoke to me earlier about my website, which is actually unreleased. I made that site a few years ago, and I've actually got an improved version. But I did that in hindsight, knowing the position that I'd be in, some people, and some of the things that they told me, AJ told me one time is, we're all psychic to an extent. And I said, what do you mean by that? I remember this was coming up, me training for the national championships.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, the championships are in 8 weeks' time. You know what you need to do to prepare for that, right? But don't let 8 weeks' time come, and you haven't done what you needed to do. So you're psychic in the sense of you know what you need to do, you know what's coming up, and you know that you're going to fight. So be the best you and prepare for yourself accordingly. Mm-hmm. Also, it's not just about training hard, it's about training smart. So these are some of the things that I learned from being around guys at AJ.
Well, that's brilliant. I mean, it's like what you said, people would pay to be, trained by and mentored, and you get this as a friend of yours, which is an absolute dream start. Going on to the weight that you're going to be campaigning at, Super Welterweight. I mean, there's champions out there like Charlo, Rosario, Teixeira holding titles. Who in your opinion is the best out of the current champions?
Charlo. I'm a Charlo fan. I like both twins. The one at middleweight and the one at super welter. Mm-hmm. I was actually upset when Charlo lost his undefeated record. I was like, damn, my favourite twins.
That was a shock, wasn't it, though? It was a shock. I didn't see that one coming.
But, I mean, look what he done in the rematch.
Yeah.
The Charlo twins, I think I could actually probably make welterweight because actually I'm in and around 71 kilos. I don't put on a lot of weight. Mm-hmm. I'm not one of those people who binge eat. I have a reasonably healthy diet. I don't eat takeaway. Never been drunk in my life, so I can probably make welterweight. According to my team, that's what they're saying. Mm-hmm. But Charlo at 154, and at 147 it is Terence Crawford. I believe he's the number one pound for pound. I mean, he's done everything. People complain and say, "Oh, but what about the names on his resume?" Those were great fighters. They're just not huge names. They're not commercial entities. That's why you don't know them.
Yeah, I mean...
do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even with Spence as well, that would be an interesting one, wouldn't it? Errol Spence and
I think Crawford wins.
Yeah? It'll be a very interesting one.
Crawford wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be, but I mean, look at Terence Crawford. I mean, look at Crawford's last fight and then look at Spence's last fight. Yes, he has Sean Porter, who would be a problem for anybody.
100%, yeah.
And then look what he's gone and done since with that accident, which wasn't, you can't blame him for. Mm-hmm. But his lifestyle outside the ring isn't the same or as disciplined as Terence Crawford's lifestyle outside the ring. So I think those will make a difference. And also, we need to see what Spence has, because that wasn't a light accident. At the top, those small percentages make huge differences.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was a very, very heavy one.
Terence Crawford is a small welterweight, and Errol Spence is a huge welterweight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, in regards to fights this year, as a fan, what were you looking forward to? What were you looking forward to watching yourself? I wanted to see Devin Haney against Lopez. Yeah, that would have been good.
I wanted to see Devin Haney against Luke Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
I was interested to see Ryan Garcia against someone like Linares, because Linares is a multi-time world champion. Even though he took some losses recently, he's still got the skill and the capabilities. So I feel like that would be a real test to see how good Ryan Garcia really is.
Yeah.
On the UK scene, I would love to say AJ Fury, but understanding how boxing works, I know that wouldn't really work, because AJ has 2 mandatories. Fury's tied up with a rematch with Wilder, and if let's say Wilder's to take the belt back, that's another rematch. So that's 2020 cancelled. And then COVID-19, the biggest opponent of everybody, has got in the way. And I actually was excited to see maybe a guy like Gervonta Davis against... Who was he meant to fight?
I forgot about all the cancelled fights now. I know that, if I remember correctly, that was going to be... Wasn't that going to be behind closed doors to begin with? And then they announced, look, we're just cancelling the whole show. And that was one of the first ones to be cancelled, wasn't it? It was such a long time ago now. I'm surprised as to... yeah.
Any other matchups? Because I feel as though I've forgotten all the matchups. I was actually excited to see Usyk Chisora.
Oh, that would have been good.
I rate Usyk highly. I've been rating him since before he was undisputed at cruiserweight. I was telling everyone, look out for Usyk, look out for Usyk. And I think he's going to be a problem at heavyweight.
Yeah.
So I want to see how he fares against Chisora. I like Chisora, so I'd like to see him do very well against Usyk too. So that one for me was quite interesting. I was looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, hopefully we get the green light soon. That we're all waiting for, especially yourself as well, making your debut. I mean, in regards to
100%.
Keeping fit during the pandemic, what kind of stuff are you? You've got your gym to yourself, so you've got all your bags in there. I mean, you're blessed with that, I take it, don't you? I mean, you've got all your machines and
100%.
You got everything. So you're there on a daily basis.
I mean, to be fair though, I took 3 weeks out because I've been training 3 times a day, 5 days a week for months. So I said, you know what, let me take 3 weeks out, enjoy myself. But I was itching to get back in the gym. I was itching. I had to make the call, get the keys to the gym. And I've been in there since, hitting the bag. 10, 12 rounds every other day for now. And as the lockdown eases, I will increase the training because I feel as though it's unnecessary for me to go too hard right now. Because as far as we're concerned, when do you even know boxing is going to be back? If that makes sense. Yeah. I certainly miss sparring. I wish I could spar, but it doesn't make sense. I must follow the government guidelines because, it's not the same. You can stay in the gym, and when you spar, that's when you really feel that, damn, there's work to be done. I'm not sharp anymore. But it's nice to be able to hit the bag. I haven't appreciated hitting the bag so much. I'm more of I love hitting the pads, but having no choice but to hit the bag has become my best friend.
Yeah, I mean, if there is one thing, I think because everyone's in the same boat, the training experience is more or less going to be the same. But some of the fighters that were on the verge of maybe retirement, they've only fought once or twice. Sorry, just once this year. For them, I do feel for them because who knows how long this is going to be, I mean, for yourself, being in a pro debut situation, it's probably better than someone else's situation, if there is any silver lining, I suppose. Apart 100%.
From... I feel sorry for... I feel sorry for the Olympic athletes. I've got Olympian friends, and I just feel so sorry for them because imagine, this is 4 years in the making, and for some people, they won't be able to peak for another year.
Yeah.
So, what then?
Yeah, I mean, the heavyweight, I think, was Fraser Clark going to the Olympics as a heavyweight. There was Daniel Dubois' sister as well, just to name but 2 people. But yeah, I mean, again, there were talks about let's reschedule the Olympics for a later date this year, but that's out the window as well, isn't it?
I mean, I think the Olympic one makes sense because obviously, you can't change the country. I mean, do you know how much money went into preparation for Japan? But I do feel sorry for Fraser Clark actually because he's a lot older than Daniel Dubois' sister Caroline. So they're in 2 different places in their careers, even though they're both in the GB squad. Fraser needs to be turning over soon, relatively. And Caroline is at the beginning. She's got time on her side. So I actually didn't take Fraser Clark's situation into consideration. But I also feel sorry for those, because, there was the London qualifiers, right?
Yep.
I feel sorry most for those who were meant to box like the next day and it got cancelled.
Yeah, I saw that because, again...
That was difficult.
Originally, they were going to say behind closed doors, and they just said, no, we can't continue with this. but hopefully it comes back, you know. But I mean, apart from training, what else are you doing in the pandemic? Are you watching any box sets or playing any games at the moment, or?
To be fair, I've actually been embracing this time to rest. The reason why I say that is I spent the last 3 years trying to put my life on track.
Yeah.
I've spent the last 3 years recovering from operations, trying to sort out my contracts, going through contracts, getting in touch with lawyers, changing gyms, trying out new coaches, starting my fitness regime from scratch twice in the last 3 years because of the operations. Like, you lose strength, you lose so much. So for me, this pandemic, I've been here before, literally, in the sense of my last operation, I couldn't move for 3 months. I was stuck in the bed for 3 months. I had to go to the toilet once a week, because if I go to the toilet too frequently, I may risk getting stuck on the toilet seat. Because what happened was, I had a skin graft for my condition HS, and they took the skin. The donor skin was from my bottom, so it meant that if I sat down and I moved a certain type of weight, I wouldn't be able. The pain would be so brutal. The ambulance would have to come get me, which happened the first couple of times. So now that I'm able to walk up and down the stairs, go downstairs to the kitchen, make some food, watch TV, go for a run, this is easy for me, as long as it doesn't last for too long. That makes sense.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're treating it as a positive, aren't you?
This is for me like a holiday before the fight, I guess. But of course, I wouldn't say I was devastated when the fight was cancelled. My debut was cancelled because I saw it coming. I pay attention to the news a lot, and I just knew. You know what? I think it's going to be cancelled. But I didn't know. What I didn't know was the severity of the coronavirus. Wow. I mean, we're averaging over 800 deaths a day in the UK. Sport has to come secondary. It has to. I mean, 100%. People's health is number one.
100%. I mean, you're living in London, aren't you, which is the most badly hit in the UK. I mean, I'm from the Midlands. That's the second worst hit. It's fair to say that we underestimated this in terms of what it was going to do. But you're absolutely right. I agree with you in regards to sport being secondary. People's lives matter, right?
100%. I mean, you know, I've been living in the UK since 2003. I came at age 7, right? I have never seen. I live in North London, Finchley. I have never ever seen the streets this empty. When have they ever cancelled congestion charge? That's when you know this is crazy. Honestly, I haven't seen ticket inspectors on the roads. Congestion charge is cancelled. Like wow, honestly, and it's like wow. Like I don't even know what to say. I couldn't even tell you. We couldn't even tell you. We couldn't even work out what's going to happen in 6 months. Like I don't know. I actually don't know. It's weird. We're living in weird times.
Yeah, it's like a really bad horror movie. I mean, you moved over from, was it Congo?
Yeah. I came from. I was born in Congo. At the time, it was called Zaire. This was just before the Civil War, which started in '96. I was born in '95, and then we moved away from Congo in 2000 because the war was that crazy. And then age 7, middle of the night / morning, my mum wakes me up. She's like, "You're going to live in London with your dad." Put me on a plane on my own. Age 7, travelled over 7,000 miles. And yeah, here I am. Been here since.
Am I right in thinking that, was it, you met Floyd Mayweather and he said you would be Congo's...
The first Congo-born world champion. Yeah, he actually said that. Yeah. But unfortunately... someone has beat me to it.
Yep, Junior Ilunga Makabu.
So he beat me to it.
Second is still good.
You know, it's great to.
Yeah. Second is still good. I mean, to be fair, you could be the first world champion from Super Welter from Congo.
There we go. But yeah, I'm happy for Junior. He deserves it because I remember seeing him against Tony Bellew. For the WBC title, and when he knocked down Bellew, I was like, damn, I had never heard of him.
Yeah.
And then when Benny knocked him out, that was devastating. I remember I watched it with my mom, actually, and she looked at me like, are you sure you want to do boxing?
I mean,
but to see him come through that and now win the title, he deserves it.
100%. He is, holder of the green and the gold strap, isn't it? The pinnacle belt, should we just say?
And also he had a tough fight on the Yard Kovalev undercard. Do you remember?
Yes.
A few months ago. That was a tough fight in Russia, away from home, and he came through that. So, in my opinion, he wholeheartedly deserves it.
And I was thinking, is that the same guy when I was watching the undercard? And then I had to box over. I thought, wow, he's come on leaps and bounds. But it was a tough fight. So, just very finally then, Jonathan, where can people follow you? Where can we get more of you?
Yeah, they can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everything at JK Boxing. One word.
Brilliant.
Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows. The list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.